Hey, I want to welcome everybody back to my own The Shoulders of Giants channel. I am Joseph Ward, the founder, author, and creator of On the Shoulders of Giants, where we tell the stories of the unsung heroes of the African diaspora, our stories from our perspective, right at your fingertips. And thank you to everybody who's been supporting On the Shoulders of Giants. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers, so we need y'all help to get us to 10,000. So make sure you this video, like, comment, subscribe, share, do your thing because the algorithm thing, we need y'all help. We got to support the things that we do, our own media. So make sure you all do that because I'm going to continue to bring this history, this information to y'all and have fun with it. I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in to my last interview with Dr. Runoko Rashidi. Thank you for that. Also, to everybody who tuned in to my interview with Miss Renee Jackson. Renee Matthews Jackson, when we talked about the history of Black theater. Thank you to everybody and to all my new subscribers and my new watchers. Welcome. We get it in here. We talk about
Yeah.
our history, we do our thing, and we make sure that we know who we are, know where we come from, because how can you really know where you're going if you don't know where you come from? So make sure you support me on Patreon at patreon.com/OTSOG. Visit the website. Got 3 books. Make sure you check out the books and check out all the free content I got on the website. But enough about that. Enough about that because I want to get into because this is about to be good. So for all of my returning watchers for this channel, you should know who this lady is, and you better know who this lady is, okay? Because there's videos on this channel. But about 4 or 5 years ago, I'm doing my deep dive, my research, and I run across a lady named Annie Turnbo Malone. And so I'm piqued. My interest is piqued because the information that they're telling me is different from the information that I grew up knowing. So I was taught that Sarah Breedlove, aka Madam C.J. Walker, basically was the architect of the black hair care industry. And then I find a bunch of information that's counter to that, and it's giving credit to this woman named Annie Malone. I'm curious, so I dive into the information and I'm looking, and okay, I keep finding more and more and more sources that is credible and that is actually supporting this information that I have. Lo and behold, the information is correct.
Yeah.
So I put out my video, I put everything out, educating people. So for years, I thought I was the only one who knew about it. I thought I was special. Come to find out, I'm not that special, but it's all good. But I'm like many people, I thought I was the only one who. All right. So the Netflix movie happened. Y'all saw my video, my reaction to that. I told my piece. I did the first 10 minutes, had my face like, what is this? Because my thing was, if you're gonna if we're gonna tell our own stories, right? And we're gonna introduce somebody from our history, tell it right. Tell it right. Right. So you see her face, right? You see her face. So scrolling through Instagram one day and I see Sasha Turnbo. And I'm like, hold on, Sasha Turnbo. So I do a little more research and I find that she is the, correct me if I'm wrong, the great grandniece of Annie Malone. Is that correct? All right, all right. So I want to welcome to my channel. She's going to give us more information about Miss Annie Malone, as well as information about herself and the history of her family and how Annie Malone was able to impact people and how she's impacting people. So, Miss Sasha Turnbull, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Joseph. I'm so excited to be sharing her story and just continue to carry on her legacy. And so, the way that this journey started was through a history project during Black History Month. And that's the part about incorporating Black History Month
Yes.
projects. Okay, because that led me to research more about her. I found books about her in my elementary school library. I got
Wow.
excited when I went home with my little book and I was like, oh my God, it's Auntie.
Right.
Because it's like in our family, it's just Aunt Annie. You know what I mean? We know who she was, you know what she did. When people do great things, you know what I mean? It's like when you grow up, it's like Blue Ivy's gonna be like, yeah, my mom's Beyonce.
Exactly.
It's very regular for the family, but for everybody else, it's made such a bigger deal. And that's why I get excited about talking about her because for me, it's a big deal because she's very new to me. I'm learning
Hmm.
and hearing stories from my elders and finding old artifacts, that they had passed down from their parents. And it's all very beneficial. And I feel like it's very important for us to also remember to want to trace back into our history to learn where we come from. We can easily take a little cotton swab and send it off and have people tell us what we are. That's simple. But
Right.
it's harder to actually call your people, talk to
Yep.
your people,
Yep.
actually have them tell you their stories, their perspectives, because it's very different and it's very life changing. It healed me in different ways and it allowed me to see different perspectives. And getting deeper into Annie Malone, it's very symbolic for me because I'm the first female Turnbo left of my family. All the other women got married and had to change their last.
Hmm.
Well, they didn't have to change their last name, but they chose to
But they
change their
did.
last name. And their maiden names are still Turnbo. But yes, one day, I'm still debating. I might hyphenate it, because thinking about this,
Right.
I'm like, Turnbo so heavy. To just make it a middle name is great, but like hyphenate, Turnbo.
That's
Well,
what I
we're
was
gonna get
thinking.
that soon. But
That's what I was thinking.
yes, and so and so I do feel as though leading into Annie Malone, she started off wanting to just treat her and her sister's hair. She learned
Hmm.
herbalism in the family, through the family farm, and she was able to then get into chemistry. She didn't get to finish high school, but she was very invested into chemistry, started making different products, especially within the scalp for skin. And she was
Right.
very big on like just hygiene overall. And
Right.
as she dug deeper into that, she wanted to promote it. She wanted to sell it. She wanted to give it to the masses. And she continued to do that by hiring people to now sell door to door. Before you had Mary Kay, Avon, you had Poro College,
Right.
Annie Malone. All right.
Right.
And so what she did in her blueprint as you research everything is just immaculate because she did it with such style and grace. When you look at every photo and you see all the women standing there, with their fur or their beautiful hats or their
Hmm.
jewelry, she was very big on jewelry. She gave, you know, graduates and members of the college diamond rings,
Wow.
and different and large tokens like that. And she was just very, very elegant and poised. And I really love just how classy she was. So you're right. The Netflix series, it was frustrating. I can honestly say that I watched it,
Hmm.
turned it off, came back to it a couple days later.
I did too.
Not gonna lie. Because at the end of the day, and one thing that people gonna understand when they communicate with me that I try to help them understand is that you can never say, "Well, why are you taking this so personally?" Excuse me. At the end of the day, when it's family, it's always personal.
It
I know
is.
people who get beat up for talking about somebody's mother, okay,
Right.
for calling somebody's sister out the name, okay. So you think that you're going to get on a worldwide platform and like publicly disrespect my aunt? That's the thing. That's the thing. It's not anything subtle, and it's everything
Hmm.
personal. Okay, so it's something that I'm very passionate about. And that's also another thing. It's never aggressive. It's always passionate
Right.
because she did what she did. And I'm not saying she was perfect, but a little tidbit that she had with a woman in like her mid 20s to early 30s, it's not very relevant when you die at like 70, 80, And that's the real perspective. That's how the family looks at it. That's why when people talk
Hmm.
about a Madam CJ Walker, I'm like, but when did she pass away? 1919? Oh, okay. And he passed away in 1957 because my grandpa was definitely at that service. So at the end of the day, like even her personal assistant that, I met, he came
Hmm.
around in like 1947. He was like, it's so funny how people talk about a Madam Walker because she was nowhere around when we were working. So,
Right.
you know what I mean? And people had to go back and then understand, oh yeah, because her estate carried on different things, but
Hmm.
they built up a whole thing. And she was a very glamorous woman. So at the end of the day, when you're willing to flaunt your riches,
Right.
it can always come off as you are the wealthiest.
So
But
so
when
let
you're
me.
building, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so just so we can get a kind of a time perspective on it. About what about what date did she begin her hair care business? Like what year did she start rather?
So she started making the products around like 1902. So
Okay.
early 1900s, She started making a lot of things. Well, she was doing things in the kitchen in like the late 1890s. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? But officially, like we can say 1902 was more official, because she was in the St. Louis World Fair, the 1904 World Fair, and that's where she showcased a lot of her stuff for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And so since then, she was selling products, marketing products, hiring people to sell products, and then she built her school. But okay, so we say the school is worth a certain amount. It's worth $500,000. Okay, $550,000. Great. So then you can then include the annex for the garage. You can include a hospital, a laundry unit, a seamstress to make the outfits and the uniforms for everybody. And then you have a whole theater for performances so
Right.
that we can have entertainment. So at the end of the day, when the building is that much plus all the extra, by 1918, you're gonna tell me that you're doubting a million, even though half her buildings were burned down by Jewish people. She even had to get rescued out of her own home because
Okay.
people tried to burn her out of her own home.
See, I didn't know, but I'm always saying because I've heard a lot of stories throughout history. So my saying is, if you build it, you must protect it, especially for us as Black people. So I didn't know that the buildings were burnt down by Jewish people. Wow.
Yes, the buildings were burned down, and she had to escape overnight at one point. She had to pack up 150 people from St. Louis, bus them to Chicago, and start over. You know what I mean? Like, people just don't do that. And mind you, just like how everyone thought she was born in 1869, they're also thinking she's like 8 years older than what she really is. So
Hmm.
no, you're not taking directions from a 40 or 30-year-old woman. You're taking directions from a 25-year-old, 35-year-old woman.
Wow.
So do you see the perspective? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm over here, but because by 1907, she would have just turned, what is that, 30? Yes, because she was born in 77, 87, 90, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by 30, you're on a huge platform selling all these things. You have all these people doing all this stuff. By 40, you're building the buildings. Okay.
Right.
And then there's a huge discrepancy now because once you have buildings, once you have masses of students, now you have people coming after you. But see, what
Yes.
I don't want people to get confused is my story is never about just one Black woman. Because when we pull out my book, when you see my receipts, when you see, and it's not even about my receipts, it's all public knowledge. I'm just doing
Mm-hmm.
the research.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, when you see the court records of the countless women that she went to court with, the company she went to court with, you know what I mean? I even saw
Mm-hmm.
a court case with P&G. You know what I mean? Everybody knows P&G. Everybody uses P&G products. Everybody's
Right.
heard of them.
Right.
She even had the whole thing with some of her soaps. So it's like at the end of the day, she went to war with the world. And that's the power that I want people to respect about her story. It's not about some back and forth, who was first, who was second, who was third. It doesn't matter. She laid out a blueprint and pioneered something for the world. She went to Europe to find that hot comb, widen the tooth a little bit, patent it, and patent that first hot comb. She did something
Wow.
for our people. So while everyone likes to talk about first, second, third, last, I feel you. You know what I mean? Of course, you already know I stand at the top with my aunt, but that's not the focus of the story, and that's my focus of the story, is that she broke molds and she just overcame the unthinkable. You know what I mean? If
Mm-hmm.
any problem that was presented, she knew how to conquer it. And that's what's powerful, because at 25, at 35, at 45, when you have not only, a whole other race of people attacking you, when you have your own people attacking
Yeah.
you, when you have your husband blackmailing you, come
Wow.
on now.
So, okay, so because I knew that she had to copyright some of her products because of people trying to steal her stuff. Now, the information I had didn't really get specific on who these individuals were. I know the the way I presented it, some people just made up stories like I was trying to say Madam C.J. Walker. But so you were saying it was a whole plethora of people who was coming
Yes.
after her products that she had to protect it from.
Yes, and this is so just to give you guys like a perspective, right? Because more people can, when you correlate it with like maybe like the music industry, think about how common of a beat or a song you hear and how you hear about somebody going to war or a lawsuit or something because it's too similar.
Mm-hmm.
So back in that time period when you're doing things like that, it's like she's the only one you can be copying from. So yes, she went to war with the world because no one else is doing it how she was doing it. And she had a seal. She did. She had a
Mm-hmm.
coral seal so that you knew if you purchased a canister, because that's the other thing too. It wasn't just about people using the products. Some people just wanted to use the canisters and put
Right.
their products in the canister because they knew that that nicer canister would sell for more than the cheaper canister they would get.
Right. Right.
And so that's a different perspective too. Sometimes it's not always about the formula, it's the packaging too that they'll always try to take. So she had to fight both sides. And so it's the fact that she kept conquering and she was classy about it. And one thing that people always say is you never saw, she always had a poker face. You never saw the emotion. She was
Mm-hmm.
fighting through a divorce with her husband and you wouldn't know. If she was uncomfortable in a room, she would stand up, she'd walk out, she would leave.
Mm-hmm.
But that was about it. Like that was as dramatic as it got. She's not making a scene. She doesn't cause discomfort or friction. She's very methodical with her words, and she doesn't take a lot of
Right.
shit. Because she's a Leo, mind you. Don't
Right.
don't underestimate her. She is a Leo.
Uh-huh.
Okay, August 9th, honey. All right. So we're not
Yes,
gonna do
ma'am.
that. But at the end of the day, as a black woman, I'm motivated because if she could build the empire she built, I'm already just excited for what I am going to do because I follow just like her. I love to write. I'm into chemistry. I love
That's good.
chemistry. I make products. I'm gonna start school to do dermatology when I finish my last semester at Howard. So I love skin. I love hair. I love all of it. And so
That's
to
great.
to feel like that's also a part of my journey is very humbling. And so being able to tell her story, I'm going to correct her story, I'm going to live, this chapter is going to be revolved around her and uplifting her. But once I'm ready to be, Dr. Turnbo with my own practice and I have my products and I'm treating my people, and people ask me about Annie Malone, I'm be like, did you
Yes.
buy a book?
Yes.
Did you call somebody? Because I want people to know like there's many books. Like I have a couple right here. Like my cousin wrote this book, and then this is
Mm-hmm.
another book by John Whitfield, great author. Um and there's a lot of great information out there about her. And so at the end of the day, even though my book will come out later this year, my book is not out yet. I want people to know that you will always be able to find the correct content, but are you willing to accept it? Are you
Right.
willing to receive? Okay.
Right.
Because that's the next frustrating thing when I present something new. Because one thing that people, don't know that's very challenging for me is like I'm kind of rewriting history right now. I'm making a lot of people change their textbooks and
Mm-hmm.
and 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 kind of figure some things out. It's a lot. I'm challenging a whole series based on a national or worldwide platform, because you got their perspective is what's deemed as accurate, but I'm here to say, well, I don't know if I would agree with that because even in my perspective, I would have done better due diligence to Madam TJ Walker because I feel like she even accomplished more in her lifetime than just bickered with my aunt.
Exactly.
If if you want to be honest, I'm not even here to say it's anybody's fault. I just feel like the writers, and that's what I go for because I have had communications with Madam Walker's granddaughter, Lelia Bundles, and even though um she does feel her own perspective and her own opinion, she didn't want the forefront of the movie to be such conflicts. And
Mm-hmm.
so I do feel as though we could have told the story and, have Madam Walker learning some stuff, quick little tidbit at school, and then she went about her business.
Right.
Because I heard she was going to be in the series. I thought it was going to be a quick little 10-minute, 20-minute cameo. but she's in like everything. You have her chasing you. You have her doing all
Yeah.
types of stuff. And in the end, you
Yes.
come out and it's like, oh, wait, but I stole everything. And I'm like, all right, this was psychologically draining because I don't know what I was supposed to receive.
That was
But
look, that was my frustration because I'm
what
not
was I
even in
supposed
the
to
fan.
receive? What was I
Right.
supposed to receive?
I felt like I was in the family, like because I'm sitting on my couch, and the first episode comes on, the first 10 minutes, and I'm just like, hold up. So I'm flipping back through my information. I'm like, hold up. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not crazy because if we're once again if we're gonna tell our own stories, tell it correctly, and also that was an opportunity to show how Black women work together to be able to build the Black hair care
Oh,
industry. Yeah, I
because
found
that's what she did. Because that's what she did.
look. I found information about a lady named Viola Desmond who basically pioneered the hair care industry, the Black hair care industry in Canada.
Okay.
Val, Viola Desmond was a student at one of Madam C.J. Walker's schools.
Okay.
Madam C.J. Walker was a student at the Poirot Institute. So three women who are responsible for the foundation of the Black haircut industry that we have today. The story could have went like something like that, but so that's why I feel like it's
Right.
important to have people like you on to be able to tell the story correctly.
Because and that's all I want to do is tell it correctly. I'm not here to diminish anything. I don't care. And people who know me, and that's like, come on now, the woman is called a friend to all mankind. They put that on her obituary. Okay, let me tell you something. She wasn't just named or deemed to be a friend to everyone just for fun. She was genuinely an authentic person.
Mm-hmm.
And so to diminish her character like this, like, you think that because you going to put a little fake name on it and sprinkle something on it that we gonna take it for no. Mm-mm.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
What even when they put the black nose on Rudolph, Rudolph knew it was a hoax. Okay, took that nose off. I'm Rudolph, honey. Okay,
Exactly.
it doesn't work like that. You can't call it something when you're trying to portray it as something else. And they knew they couldn't use her actual name because, honey, I would have been
Right.
sitting in a whole nother
Right.
place right now.
Right. But
It would have been a whole nother situation if you get into defamation.
no, yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm with you. But another problem, and I understand why they couldn't use the correct name, but I had to, when in talking to some of my friends, I had to let them know, okay, that's a fictional name that they've used, and then I'm like, well,
Yeah.
read this story so you will know because it's like we got some excellent Black people, Black women in our history, and just tell it correctly, just tell the story right. That's it.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's and it's even sad because you know what also happened that really shocked me is that other legacies came into my DMs because I guess they even tried to include tidbits of like other important people and
Mm-hmm.
like they didn't do that correctly. Or somebody was like, they tried to portray my aunt in this, or they tried to portray my uncle in this, and that wasn't right. And I'm like, oh my God. And
Right.
so to me, I get overwhelmed because at the end of the day, I feel a certain way because, just to keep it plain and simple, you have someone like Casey Lemons who's from St. Louis. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're from St. Louis and you think that this is how St. Louis wants to be honored with this woman when you guys hold a parade for her every year. Okay.
Right.
The biggest May Day parade that puts so much into y'all city. Okay. Puts so much into the Annie Malone Children and Family Service Center to help so many people in that community. You know nothing about it and you don't even care about acknowledging that woman. It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to me to
Right.
be from a certain place. Like I'm from the DMV, you know what I mean? So I couldn't imagine putting on something about somebody like, I don't know, a film including maybe like a Chuck Brown, like a go-go guy, you know what I'm saying? Or like what?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, and it's like I disrespect certain things about his legacy. And I'm like, but I know what go-go's done for my life. I know what that music has done for me. It's like, oh my God. So
Yeah.
it's like for her, it's like, come on, just as a community, as a philanthropist, as a black woman who is familiar, I feel like I choose to be on the side that wants to be authentic. I choose to be on the side that's gonna say no if it's not correct. And
Mm-hmm.
all I can stand on the side is with, it'll be done by any means because a Turnbo is involved. And that's
Yes.
just what we believe.
Yes.
I don't bow down. When I feel certain about something, it's gonna get done. And so that is why my family knows, like, everybody always congratulates me as I post different things, or I release a new interview or something, and they're like, "You're the perfect one to do this," because we know emotionally we couldn't handle this. Like, because
But you
sometimes
are.
that's another thing too. It can get very emotional because it's also triggering. These are the wounds of my people who suffered from this. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's the fallouts. You know what I mean? It's deeper. It's the conversations that were had that broke apart certain people, that, and then how we had to come back together, and different things that just people, especially Black families, know we all struggle with.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like, imagine you choosing an elder to not talk about. How easy is it going to be for you to not talk about that elder, and then communicate with everybody in your family to now get information on that elder? How easy is that for you? When
Right.
everybody's busy, everybody has their own time. And to me, yes, I'm a beautiful person and people favor me. To the world, yes, y'all love my aunt. But to us, it's Aunt Annie and cousin
Mm-hmm.
Sasha.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. But it's humanizing as well though, because you are whole
It's
human
very
beings, right? And so we need to see y'all.
whole
We
human,
see what we see, but you're
very
a whole human
regular,
being,
very
and
regular.
be allowed to be a human being at the same time. So speaking of that, let's get into
Yeah.
how generous Annie Malone was, because that is one of the things that I did learn is she spent a lot of time giving back to other people, helping other people, and she even used her own money out of her own pocket to help other people. So can you elaborate a bit more on that?
Yes, she was very, very, very gracious with her money. That's the reason, even why when people ask about an estate, there wasn't much left after she passed, because
Right.
she donated so much of her money. She sponsored two students at every HBCU for a certain amount of
Wow.
time. Like during that time period, and I'm doing research to just figure out like how many HBCUs actually existed.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it was like, I feel like at least well over like 50 to 60 HBCUs. Like, it was a lot. And to cover their full tuition. And then she donated the first 25,000 to start Howard University Medical
I saw
School.
that.
So
I saw that.
I'd be looking at them like, come on, Howard. Okay. I
Yeah,
think I can have a couple of discounts with
we
these
did.
books.
Right.
Okay, I hello, but yes, and she did a lot with Tuskegee. She did a lot with a lot of HBCUs. She's an honorary Zeta. She's very big in St. Louis. The Annie Malone Children and Family Service Center wasn't originally named after her. They chose to name it after her because she was so active with the orphanage, and just so gracious with the donations with the children. And even like with the family, it was very beautiful. She would always send gifts and do different things, and she was just very generous. Even when she had to pack up everybody and buy a new building, set everybody up, what I mean, it's not easy to do that. It's not easy to ask your
Right.
people to do that, you
Right.
know and the fact that that many people trusted her, that's the thing. You can try to say as many things that people can try to say as many things as they want about my aunt, but the amount of people that trust her or trusted her is what speaks for itself. The
Right.
amount of people that knew her that are alive to this day that defended their honor. When I go to St. Louis, I have people that come up to me and they say, if your aunt would have never opened that school, my great grandmother would have never went there, opened her salon to support our family for the next 3 generations.
Mm-hmm.
Or if your aunt wouldn't have donated to this orphanage, I wouldn't have able to gotten these resources to now go off to college to now be this huge businessman.
Right.
I know people who are really at a rock bottom, and say that their foundation was off of what my aunt laid. That means everything to me, because I'm
Yes.
working hard for something. We're all working hard for something. And at the end of the day, you know what you're working hard for, and you're not going to allow anybody to diminish your name, and your
Mm-hmm.
people aren't going to allow anybody to diminish your name. And so that
Right.
is why I stand so strong on what I do, because she did what she did for her people. She was very generous. She donated so much. She only had 100,000 left in her estate that she gave to my grandfather and siblings. 100,000 from millions.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, She donated a lot. She lost a lot of it to the IRS because of tax records, because during that time they were taxing Black people for the dumbest of things, and they
Mm-hmm.
tried to say she owed so much money. And then she was divorcing her husband, who also
Right.
blackmailed her. And then people were after her husband too. Okay, you had Mary McLeod Bethune and other people trying to stick people on her. Like, hello, don't be messing with Annie. That's the thing. Like, she had powerful people. Okay, she put funds to help start organizations like NAACP and so many other things. Like, she was just so selfless. And
Right.
so I feel like that's the power in her story, that she was just a selfless like person, selfless being. And that's one thing I feel as though when you're taking something from any of this, or whatever you do or don't take, um, my soundbite, make sure you understand Annie Malone was a very classy and respectful woman. Okay, at the end of the day, I always like
Yes.
to get that out there, because like I said, the series tried to paint a very bad image of her. And it's frustrating, even with the colorism. That's hard, because our family member and people who are Black, sometimes you got the light skinned sister, sometimes you got the dark
Mm-hmm.
skinned sister, sometimes you got the light
Mm-hmm.
skinned cousin, sometimes you got the dark skinned cousin, and we're all the same people.
Right.
So to say this about her, and then I see my family, I'm like, I'm not even believing any of this. And then when I'm reading her letters and I'm seeing her students, I'm not believing any of this.
Right. Right.
So it's frustrating, because it's like, you do this for entertainment, but who are you trying to entertain? Who do you want to appease? I guess, because to me, I'm not. It's not humorous to me. It's not funny. It's not
Right.
dramatic. This isn't my reality TV, because to me, it's supposed to be historical. And I love Octavia Spencer. I love Blair Underwood. I love Tiffany Haddish. Even Carmen Ejengo, the women who play her. I love
Yeah.
all of them. So the fact that and it's crazy, because even Carmen posted Annie,
I,
and I saw she posted Annie, and I was like, I'm glad you did your research, and you did your role, but you didn't play my aunt. Okay. I
yeah.
can't say you played her. So thank you for posting her, crediting her. You played who you played, but that wasn't her.
Yeah.
So you ain't do her no due diligence. I don't
Yeah.
care.
I saw that. I went to her
Like none
Instagram
of her
page.
mannerisms were my aunt's mannerisms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
But yeah,
what?
I went
Anyway.
to her Instagram page. No, you could. I went to her Instagram page after she posted what she posted. I felt like trying to cover it up,
Oh yeah.
or clean it up a bit. But what's funny. I was listening to a lecture on YouTube earlier today, and it was talking about how sometimes when Black people choose to play certain roles, there's a conscious decision that goes into playing the role when you have to read the script, and especially somebody historical when you can do your research. So a conscious decision was made to play this role and to make this happen. And so that's why to me on the back end, conscious decisions has to be made to say, all right, that was that. This is the real story. And let's make sure people really understand who this woman was and the impact she
Exactly.
truly had on America. And there would be no Black haircare industry without her.
Right. And I feel as though, and I do agree with that. You get to choose what story you want to tell. At the end of the day, we all get up, we choose our job, we choose what cars we like, what clothes we like, we choose what we're going to read, we choose what we're going to post. And people to the day, they choose what events they want to go to, they choose who they're going to support. So you can choose who you want to portray and what you want to do. But all I know is no one has ever accurately portrayed my aunt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, when people always say, well, would you have anything to say? And I'm like, well, I want to know, well, what would y'all do differently? Because I don't have nothing to say about it. If that's how y'all felt Madam CJ Walker's life was, well, I can see why there's so much animosity. I can see why there's so much tension, because that's how y'all feel.
Right.
But y'all don't know that we know all the cases that Annie had to face.
Mm-hmm.
Madam Walker was worried about Annie. Annie was worried about Sally, Billy, Joe, Bob. Like, come on now.
Right.
You kidding me?
Right.
So it's just like, it's funny, because if that's what you want to highlight, I'm glad that is what you guys feel was accurate. But
Right.
I hope that as books are being rewritten and new projects are being created, that perspective shifts, because
Yes.
that perspective is very toxic. And like I said, they could have done her better due diligence. I think that we could have saw a better story of what Madam CJ Walker did without it being such dramatic antics.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just with my aunt, there were other scenes that were very dramatic throughout the series that didn't correlate with history. You know what I mean? Like, so we're not even
Yeah.
gonna act like it was just the Addie Monroe thing. There were a couple things that were scattered throughout the series that was very questionable. And it's just like, if this is what y'all like as entertainment, so be it. But it's not
Right.
going on in my books as like, a stamp as like, oh yeah, my children have to see this. It's not like a Roots. Like people say, oh yeah, Alex Haley Roots. Everybody got to see that. You know what I mean? It's not that vibe, sis. No,
Exactly. Exactly. So
it's
so
not
let's
giving.
so let's go back a bit. You you talked about her going to Germany to to create the hot cone, correct?
Um, I will not say Germany.
Okay.
I will say Europe,
You're okay,
as
somewhere in
I
Europe.
confirm, yes, as I confirm the specific city. But because I my research said France. So that's why
Okay.
you're saying Germany, but I researched France. So
Okay.
I'm gonna say Europe,
I
okay?
got you. I got you.
And she found a man who had a hot comb. She took that same design, but then widened the tooth and patented, a hot comb that was suitable for thicker textured hair. It
Okay.
wasn't for fine hair. You know what I mean? So that is then where you get the hot comb, you heat it up on a stove. You got your bacon fat, not your bacon, sorry, not bacon fat, goose fat. Sorry, they
Yes.
use a lot of goose fat
Yes.
and different things like that. And you got, what I'm saying? People be knowing like, come on, them edges. Anybody who's ever gotten their hair laid, girls who do the silk press, anything, man, you know about having to touch
Right.
up them edges and sometimes heating a hot comb. Maybe not today. Girls will use a flat iron, and I respect it. But back in my grandmother's day, Eddie Malone's day, you didn't have no choice. You used the hot comb, and then you had your curling iron that sat on the stove, and you did your whole thing. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, she was very global, and she wasn't just in America. I have cousins from Bermuda who even say they have things from Annie because she taught just all up in the islands. So she was worldwide. Um, and that's what's so dope about her. I'm like, what was it like to travel back then?
Exactly.
That's I love when I see the letters because just seeing like how they use the typewriters and the stamps and different things, like mail is so different today than mail back then, and I
Mm-hmm.
love the comparisons. So just to know that she was so versatile and traveling like that, like that's like me. Like I love to travel. I've been so many places, and even when people say like we look alike, hello, I'm not gonna deny it. I do feel like her energy does shower over me because we are. I do feel like I am a reflection of her in different
Mm-hmm.
ways. Even like how she started doing things with her hair care at the age of 22 in Brooklyn, Illinois. I started doing my things at 22 in Brooklyn, New York. But
Right.
it's very weird, but it's very funny.
No, that's
Because I don't know. I think everything's destined. I think everything's meant with a purpose. And there's
mm-hmm.
also a reason why I'm the first girl as well. You know what I mean? You have my grandfather, you have my great grandfather, which is Annie's brother. You have my grandfather, who only had two boys. And then, only one of those sons, my father had kids, my uncle didn't have kids. And I'm the first girl, you know what I mean? And then I
Yeah.
have a younger brother. So it's like male, 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 and then me.
Right.
And I feel like that's also destined as well to for me to be the one to tell the story, and I look just like her. Then I'm, everything is already written, and I'm here walking by faith. So I'm very grateful for people like you who are interested in her story because, like I said, sometimes my family loves hearing about family, but like we talk about
Mm-hmm.
other things. So you guys want to talk about my family? Let's do it. It's
Yeah.
sometimes it can be my favorite topic. I love it.
Exactly.
because
Exactly.
because it's comforting for me, it's uplifting for me, and it's very healing for me as well. And so I really enjoy that. And it's a dope perspective. It's a dope legacy. I wouldn't be able to carry on her legacy and even break through what she did. Like she had the millions by this age. I'm like, bet, let's get there because
Yeah.
I want to make sure that not only me doing it by telling my story, but me doing it with my dermatology. I want to have spas like all over the world. She had pearl colleges all over the world. I want to have spas and different things and medical practices all over to treat people's skin holistically and
Hmm.
have people understand the benefits of, great skin, great hair, thick nails come from internal cleansing. And, you can excel internally to externally. And so I do feel as though that spirit also has carried through me because Annie was not like a crazy eater,
Okay.
She was a very light eater. And yeah, no, and like I said, it's very interesting the little things that people tell you about her, like that was one of the things her personal assistant would always say, like, well, not always say, but he has mentioned, dinner time, she would eat very light, you know what I mean? She had
Hmm.
like a potato and, a baked chicken and like a dinner roll and, maybe like
Right.
lemonade. She wasn't like a heavy drinker,
Right.
so she loved fresh lemonade. So
Okay.
little things like that. It's like I love fresh lemonade. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Like it's the little things where you get excited because you want to make them feel like you said you want to humanize them.
Yep.
So to all of us, she's an icon. To me, she's my celebrity. But I want her to feel as natural. I want her to be Aunt Annie,
Yes.
so that I can
Yes.
think, okay, if she was here right now, or if she's coming to me right now, what energy would she give me? Because sometimes, or at least when I would get started, I would always have like this nice proper hello, I'm Sasha Turnbo, and this is what I do. But it's like I have to be authentic. I have to be real with you guys because it's not
This
gonna.
is you. This is because
Yes.
this is amazing. Your energy. Look, you are the perfect person to carry this legacy on because the passion, the passion that you have for it, like the fact that you're just as excited as I am about this, and the passion and the way you bringing it, so many more people are going to learn about her, and so many more people are going to be able to really see the real story of Annie Malone because the way that you're bringing it and your energy, like, don't change for nobody. Be you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Because that's the biggest part for me to understand as I'm transitioning to be more open and abrupt with everybody. Because like I said, you can get emotional, and so you
Yes.
think that the way to protect yourself from not getting emotional is to just be very bland. But when you don't give any emotion, the people don't really feel you. So it's like I'm like I can't do that. I have to talk with my hands. Sometimes I roll my neck a little bit. People are
Yeah.
gonna have to learn this Black history. How
That's
Black people talking.
you gonna get
Okay.
it how you get it.
Yes. Um.
That is
But
cool.
and that's how she was. She was very real though, and so just like how we are building this friendship, she has many friends. I have many friends. I have a beautiful network of people, and I just love people. That's the thing about me. I am a Libra, okay, and I don't
Hmm.
know how familiar you are with astrology, but Libras are one of the least confrontational. We like duck
Okay.
and cover from anything confrontational. Okay, like we're not scary now. We're very bold. Like we'll face things head on. We'll always be on the front line, but it's
Right.
like we prefer to always be at peace with everybody. So if I can make friends with the next person because that'll be for the best interest of me, let's do it. I
Exactly.
don't want to be closed off with my information because I feel like it needs to be for me. I'd rather share my information, build, my Annie Malone family because I feel like this is all of ours, Aunt Annie. You know what I'm saying? We call her Annie
Yes.
Malone, but at the end of the day, Aaron Malone is not really our favorite, so we can just stick with Aunt Annie. Okay, 'cause she's Turnbo.
Yeah. There
Okay.
you go. There
When
you
your
go.
cousin, when your auntie married an uncle that you didn't really like, and you had to tell him get rid
Like,
of that
yeah,
uncle.
that that was the name, but we're gonna stick with the real name that we like. So
I'm saying she a Turnbo,
there
okay,
you go.
but yes, I want everybody to resonate with Aunt Annie and understand it. That can be your Aunt Annie too. Vibe with her. When you see her face, a lot of people are captivated. You
Mhm.
feel like she's speaking to you. You feel comfort in her eyes when you look at her. That's what we need to feel about our leaders. That's how we need
Yes.
to feel about those that we call sheroes or those we call icons. You want to look at those photos and be empowered years after they are gone.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that is the beauty of her. Everybody has this reaction, and that is why I carry her legacy with such grace and class and poise as she did. Because at the end of the day, hello, I can't come, out here and be acting wild on Annie's name. The Turnbo's gonna wrap me up. Okay.
Right. Now I got you. I got you.
You gonna have them calling you like, all right,
What you
Sasha, I know you
doing?
got
Yeah.
excited, but I'm gonna need you to dial down a little bit. Keep it
Right.
a little on. But yeah, no. But
Yeah, it's cool.
but I do get excited, and like I say, I'm always willing to share, and I do want to have, big, like the Bronner Brother hair shows. I want
Yep.
to do big, shows to honor beauticians like Annie Malone would, like the World Fair
Hmm.
or something. So I'm hoping as her legacy grows, we can have people come set up booths and sell their products and different things like
Yeah.
that for our people, by our people, because that's what we need. And at the end of the day, my main focus as well is getting hair care back in the black. Okay,
Yes.
hair
Yes.
care is in a whole, we done gave it to a whole other sector of the world. Okay, the Eastern world runs hair care.
And they shouldn't. We created
Okay,
it. Let's get it back. Yeah.
oh my god, because it's like, man, it's crazy. The Asians are powerful, boy.
There
Oh
they
my
are.
goodness,
They are.
that whole country of Asia, the whole country of Asia, they just manifest so much. And like, it's beautiful, but it started in the black. We're gonna get it back in the black,
There you go.
okay? Because guess what? We do it phenomenally. I love how they do it, but we know how to just put a little something on it that just makes it pop better, you know?
They learn from us. They have to learn from us. So hey, might as well bring it back to the source.
The blueprint.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Because at the end of the day, if you bring it back to the source, everybody gets the best product at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been
Mm-hmm.
using a lot of black owned things since, I've always loved the black owned everything, from attending Howard and just being at HBCU. So it didn't really get amplified last year, but I feel like since society made black, like kind of highlighted black things a little bit more, it was easier to find black owned products last
Yeah.
year. So I can say that honestly now I have been buying, like, and I'm not saying just like clothes or jewelry. I'm saying black owned things like toilet paper, hand soaps, like black owned things that people don't think about, that are everyday necessities that we
Mm-hmm.
can buy from black people, from black manufacturers. So
Right.
that is something that we are going to soon tap into. So we can have black farmers markets, you know what I mean? So that black people can bring in all of their stuff and we can keep money in our communities. Because I
Yep.
feel like that is the first way, people always say, okay, well, you got, we're filled with the ghettos and all types of stuff and whatever. Okay, so let's shift. We got to get out of it. We got to shift. But everybody has to find the one thing they're good at and then fight to be the best at
Yes.
it. But
Yes.
but the one thing you can't do is that if you're not the best at it, you can't try to take out the best. You have to now
Right.
try to sit next to the best
And learn.
and get there. You know what
There
I'm
you go.
saying?
Yep.
But a lot of people, they just want to be followers. Some people, they need to go to a job. They
Mm-hmm.
find comfort in, something like already pre-written instruction
Right.
type of vibe. And nothing is wrong with that, because we need people who are willing to work. But when some of us can tap into that ability to create and really just have faith in the power of creating, it's
It's
very
an
scary. But when you can have that faith, you can just go so far. And I'm learning that. I'm learning that.
it's in our DNA, and it's I understand why you are saying that, because it's literally in your DNA. It's in all of us, but it's literally in your bloodline that you can track back, because that's exactly what Annie did. She created
Yes.
her own. She used her imagination, she used her ingenuity, her intelligence, created a whole industry, a whole platform, and empower others. And as you can see around the world, like I have a friend from St. Louis. He's from the St. Louis area. And when I first started talking about Annie Malone,
Yes.
she got excited. She's like, "Oh yeah, she did this and she did this, and we talk about this in St. Louis." And I'm from Florida. I'm from Florida. So I went to FAMU. So down here, all they taught us
Okay.
was
Okay.
all they taught us was Madam C.J. Walker. And like I said, shout out to her and kudos to her and everything that she built. But let's 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 make sure that we're getting these stories out so everybody can know. And that's another reason why I want to have you on here. I created this whole platform. So we share these stories with as many people as possible. We're not letting nobody else doing it. We're gonna do it and we're gonna do it right. So
Right.
yeah. So let me ask you about your book. And you don't have to get all the way into it, but kind
Okay.
of give us a little bit of information about your book and kind of time when it may come out so we can buy the book.
Yes. So the book is going to be centered around just Annie's life. Okay. So I'm gonna do a two-part series. First book is gonna be just solely on her life. The second book is going to be the in-depth of the college. Okay. And so it's going to be broken up, just by decade. And you're
Okay.
going to travel through every decade, see what she went through, how she faced it, and not only what happened publicly, what happened in the family. I'm
Hmm.
going to incorporate, newspaper clippings that the family received, family letters, you know, family photos. I have my grandfather and his siblings in Poro, and them running the college like they're grown and they're just sitting there like in taking their business photo, and it's just beautiful, it's powerful. And so the book will it's planning to be coming out her birthday August 9th. All right,
Okay.
so
Okay.
I'm getting everything together for August 9th, and I would love to be in St. Louis. I'm trying to see where in St. Louis I can be, if I can be at the Annie Malone Children and Family Service Center or if I'm gonna be somewhere else. So the day of the book release party, I guess, or when that would take place is not definite, but the release date is looking to be on her birthday, August 9th. And that's something that I want to do to kind of wish her happy birthday and
Hmm.
put that out there as like my gift to her after, because she passed away 57, so we're going on like 60 years of her being gone.
Okay.
And so I want that to be something that's like, it's been a long time coming, but happy birthday. And so I feel like
Right.
releasing it on her birthday will always be special for me. Um, and so I'm gonna make sure that, everything I'm with the pandemic, I know it'll definitely be digital. With the pandemic, I'm trying to make sure everything can be printed in time so that I can get it to St. Louis. I'm gonna ship it to somebody that I know there, and
Hmm.
then I'll travel there, like get all the books there because I want to do a book signing. I want to do a whole thing. So we're gonna keep our fingers crossed, okay? But yes, so fall, early fall, late summer, early fall is
Okay.
our time frame, okay? And I'm very excited
Cool.
because I've been working on the book for a long time now. The only thing that I feel like has been delaying me is just I feel like I wanted to add more family touches to it.
Hmm.
I feel like I had a lot of public research. I feel like I had kind of the same story that everybody had, or like similar stories, but I wanted to make it more personal. So, me adding the family aspects will be a beautiful touch. And
Right.
I think that'll allow people to humanize her. Like you say, I love that you use that because I feel like people look at her as such an icon that they don't see her as a person who actually
Right.
faced day to day things. And so I'm very excited because, a lot of books have been written and some are being rewritten, but no book has fully hit the mark to be like, oh, this is the one.
Okay.
There's segments in Black Fortunes that was really good. Segments in Black Fortunes that was really good. A Friend to All Mankind is phenomenal. I love all of the books. I just want to tell my story from my perspective and,
Hmm.
like I say, organize it with a timeline throughout each decade. So you'll see, like, what her childhood was like, because that's something that I can have that perspective of. And then you see what it was like once her parents passed. And then, no, she's no longer in school, but now she's starting her business and now she's running her businesses, and then she's losing some parts of herself, and she's gaining a husband and losing a husband and then gains a husband. It's a lot. And so
Right.
emotionally it's a lot as well. And so I'm going to include a lot of those aspects from different things, from recordings and not notes that I took, and everything will be cited, and people will be able to fact check everything. And I'm gonna send in certain photos or different things to, like, people in Smithsonian and
Hmm.
stuff like that, so those can be included in archives, and get down to the bottom of the tax record situation so that we can find out. I'm researching to see when she first filed, like, the taxes and the amount, because then that'll confirm the year of when she was the millionaire. That's another important document that people would love to see. So that's going to be included in there. So once all these years and everything is confirmed, you have the timeline and the way it's orchestrated. I don't have like a proper title for it, but right
Okay.
now the way I call it, I just call it life as a legacy. So to
Okay.
me, life as a legacy, this is my perspective of what it's like to be a legacy, and then we're gonna flash back into her time period and see what she went through. Okay.
Right.
And so to me it's kind of going to be like a narration type of feel. It's going to be a
That's
different type
cool.
of vibe. You know what I mean?
That's
it's
cool.
it's I'm a writer. I love writing. I study psychology, so I was the girl who would write your paper if need be. So I do love writing. And so and I'm a big reader, so I love the mystery in books. And so I love the drama in books. So I'm not here to dramatize it, but I want to make it emotional. I want you to feel it. When her husband jumped out of their two-story house and screamed, "Those people are trying to kill me." I want you to feel that moment. Okay.
Okay.
Because when I read that newspaper clipping that they wrote that, I was like, wow, he yelled that.
Right.
Like, help me, these people trying to kill me, but then you jump. But the building is not that tall, so you don't die. You just hurt yourself. What, are you okay? No,
Right.
you're not okay. You're not okay. But it's all right.
Right. But it's something to learn though, and it's a part of the whole story of what made her who she was and how she was able to persevere and just growing as a human being and thriving as well. Because sometimes you
Yes.
got to go through a little something to thrive and just to learn how to get better. But
Okay.
that's cool. Now, what's
And
also cool,
something
see, I was just gonna say, I studied
you're
psychology at
good.
FAMU as well, so I get where you're coming from.
So you
Yeah.
love the analyzation, and I love the, like, understanding the human brain. So
Hmm.
what's enticing to people, and what's kind of, will cause people to pull back a little bit. So it's like, even the way I start this story is going to be beautiful, because I want to start it off brilliant and then kind of reel y'all back in. I love that vibe.
Good.
I love
Good.
I love when someone kind of like starts with the ending but then flashes back.
Hmm.
So that's kind of how I'm gonna depict it, because I feel like I want to start with what everybody's familiar, and make that very eloquent, and then when you see how everything's intertwined through the family aspect,
Hmm.
and then we get into her actual life, you're gonna be like, oh wow. So yes, I love it. I love the art of storytelling. I'm excited to actually be putting out my first. Well, it may not be my first body of work, because I'm writing a poetry book with my grandmother, my mom's mother. And
Okay.
that may come out on Mother's Day, so it won't be my first body of work, but it will be my first major, like, context, and I'm excited for that major piece, because I'm working on establishing my own publishing company, because I do want to write more books. And like I said, the
Right.
first book that I write for her will be just on her life, but then the second book will be focused just on the school, because I have her personal assistants information. I have old students information. And so that perspective is deep as well. When you talk about
Yeah.
the rooftop garden that she had to grow
Okay.
all her herbs to create things for her products. You know what I mean? Things like that. And people working all throughout the college. And you have people who run the front desk, and people who this it's just so much. I'm over here about to go into a tangent and go all the way left. But at the end of the day, the books are gonna depict a great reflection of Annie Malone. And I'm very excited for this fall. We would definitely have something. Yes.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool. I'm definitely gonna be on the lookout. And I will say, I have this platform and I have another podcast platform. Let me know how I can help and be a part of this. We can
Yes.
help you promote the book and get the stories out. Because look, that's what we here for. That's what me and my partners. That's what we built these platforms so
Thank
we can
you.
get these stories out for our people. So we'll make sure we stay in touch so we can help be a part of you getting more information out about your books and just everything that you have going on. So.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No
Of
problem.
course. I'll definitely keep you guys up to date, and we'll definitely make sure you get a copy of that book for sure, guys.
Cool, cool. I appreciate it. Now, Poro,
Yes.
can you help people understand the meaning behind the name and why she used that name for her school?
Yes. Sorry, switching AirPods.
It's all right.
one, one AirPod's about to die.
It's all right.
All right, and we're back. Okay. Yeah, so Poro. So Poro is a West African term, meaning strength and wisdom, right? And so the meaning of Poro, and so and you know what's interesting? I was taught, that that's why she chose the name, but then other historians told me that they read that they chose the name because of her Annie's first husband's last name was Pope, and then her sister Laura's husband was Roberts, and they came together and made the PO and the RO from their names. And they thought that was a thing. My family, we just thought that it's because she just researched the term and that's what she liked the meaning of. So
Mhm.
people studying history, you can see you may find both ways, and I'm still researching both ways because that is a cool aspect of both sisters coming together and combining their names for Poro. But it is also a West African term that means strength and wisdom. And I do believe that that is what she embodied. She was very strong and she was very wise, and everything down to the last symbol on her canister to the last chemical in her products was all used with the wisest decisions she could make, because it was all something that was meant to be beneficial. And the best part about it was beneficial for our people, especially when they were making things in that time period. You couldn't go into like a store and find a product for and that's
Mhm.
a difficult thing, and a lot of people don't understand that frustration. And men kind of understand when you're shopping for male clothes, the struggle. I do hear this because I only have brothers. I'm the only girl. So, men always say it's so hard to find male clothes.
Yeah.
Girls have it so easy. You have all those little stores, but guys have to spend so much money to get decent clothes. So, if you can think about that frustration, think about finding proper hygiene products that were good for
Mhm.
you. That can be frustrating as well, because that's your piece, being clean, being fresh. And so the fact that she was able to do that for the people, and it wasn't just for women, it was for men as well. Okay.
Okay.
Because hello, she taught Chuck Berry. People don't know that Chuck Berry from St. Louis, he got the bomb hair. Okay. He was a student at Poro, yes.
Yes, he was.
And
Yes, he was. You know what? I I learned that Chuck Berry was into cosmetology, but I didn't know that there was a connection with Poro.
yes, he was a student of Annie Malone's. And Nelly is gonna be Chuck Berry. He's gonna portray Chuck Berry. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. That's
Yes,
gonna be
I've been
okay.
seeing I've been seeing people in St. Louis posting that nonstop. So I feel like that is a thing, because they're like, oh yeah, because Nelly from St. Louis. I'm like, St. Louis guy is gonna play St. Louis legend. Like, yes, St. Louis legend. Everybody's excited. So that's the joy I want. And what's another thing that's very frustrating, and I'm just gonna speak on this one little
Go ahead,
tangent.
say your thing.
I do get thoroughly annoyed when we can have wonderful, just immaculate male projects on beautiful black men, but we tarnish the projects of black women. Okay? Because even Harriet wasn't up to its standard. Okay?
Don't
At the
let
end
me
of the day,
get
that's all I'm
started
gonna
on
say.
that one. Yeah, don't let me get started on that one. But I'm with you. I'm with you. Once again, if
But
we're going to
yes,
tell our
back to
own
Annie Malone. But yes,
stories,
but tell the
yeah,
stories.
tell it right, tell it right. But no, I'm with you on that. But um, and the reason why I wanted you to explain that, and just so people can really understand the significance and the importance of the Poro Institute, and I encourage all people to go do their research on Annie Malone and the Poro Institute and just learn a lot more information about it. Could you mention the titles of those two books that you showed us earlier? Mention those titles again.
Yes, A Friend to All Mankind. I'm sorry, I don't know if,
We can see. Okay, a
but
friend of
this
all
is written
mankind.
by John Whitfield. Yes,
Okay.
and this is available on Amazon. And then this book was written by my cousin. So this is Annie Malone's nephew. He's on the back. He's on the back of the book. But this is a book he wrote, The Hidden Story of Annie Turnbo Malone. And so his book, if you like to purchase that, you can DM me at Sasha Turnbo. I'm not sure if his book is on Amazon. I had to call him. That's so bad. See if you can find it on Amazon. I feel like he might put it on Amazon, but if he did not, I could definitely get those books to you.
Cool.
But they are on his website as well. I wish that his website was on the top of my head right now. I love you, cousin. Um, but John Whitfield's book is definitely on Amazon, and Black Fortunes also features a loan, and it features the first 6 millionaires that were born from slavery. So like their parents were slaves or they were slaves, and then they became millionaires. And so that's a dope book because he even, he highlights Annie Malone, and then the next chapter he highlights Madam Walker, and he has the statement, just because you flaunt your riches doesn't mean you have the riches first. And I just read that. I said, well, come on, Mr. Wills, okay?
Look,
Because if that's not a word,
look. All you got to do your research because I found she was worth Annie Malone was worth like 13, 14 million dollars in the early 1900s, and I'm just like getting people to wrap your mind around this. Worth 13 to 14 million dollars in the early
and that's
1900s.
that's billions in this time. Like right now, that would be billions if you compare that money of what she had then to what it would be today. Because like what? She had
Yeah,
one of the first Rolls Royces. Like, are you kidding me? That's why I said, sis, don't worry. I'm gonna get a Rolls Royce for the family, and I'm gonna name it after you. Okay.
there you go. There you go.
Because we need those back in the family. We need more
Yeah,
Rolls in the family.
there you
So
go.
she did a lot of great things. And that's the thing about her. Like I said, one thing I want people to also learn about her is that the truth in her story and why many people may not know of her legacy is that she invested her money. Okay. She believed in property. Okay. She believed in just overall just financial freedom. Okay. So she donated, yes, but she bought these buildings, and she and she bought these plots of land. Sorry. And
All
I
right.
keep getting texts. I'm putting my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, all right.
Uh but she invested in these properties, and that is what's so beneficial about what she did. People can tell you whatever they want to tell you and think whatever they want about your pockets, but when you're buying, a $500,000 buildings left and right, and then you're hiring workers to now come, facilitate that
Mm-hmm.
building, that's a whole nother flex. So at the end of the day, it's like she was very, very powerful, and I love the way that I love how she poured her money into the
Mm-hmm.
community, because those buildings weren't for her, those products weren't for her. Everything was always for the people.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, if it was for her, she would have been a reflection of her riches. And people can't say that about her. They can only talk about what she physically did. They can't tell you that she had the latest of this or the flashiest of that. You know, she gave diamond rings. She loved jewelry. We love jewelry. I have my pieces. I have family jewelry that I wear too. But you know, she was like, "Oh wow, you've done so hard. When have you ever done so good in a job?" And your boss is like, "Oh, here's a nice chain. Here's something for you." In the hair world, not this is not the music world because you just signed a contract and they want to give you a chain
Right.
or something. This
Right.
is this is the beauty world, and you've done your due diligence as a graduate. Or what she also did? If you bought a house, if you use your workers' money to buy a house, she would donate. She would get you a nice gift.
Wow.
So that's the thing. She rewarded you for working hard. Oh, you just bought a house? Oh, well, let me give you a nice little $20,000 in so you can furnish it. That was her vibe.
That's
It's
yeah.
respectable. She just wanted to see her people win. She just wanted to see you thrive. She wanted you to succeed and know that the struggles that come with succeeding are okay because it'll all pay off. You know,
Right.
you're going to struggle. It's going to be hard, yes, but you're going to feel better later. It's just like working out. It's going to hurt right now. You're going to sweat, later you'll go home, you'll shower, you'll feel good, and then you'll be happy when you're laying on the beach and you went to the gym last year. Like
Exactly.
it's, it's the back
Yeah.
work.
But I mean, she was a true leader. She was that's everything you were explaining to me. Leadership. That's what real leaders do. They inspire people to go out and be their best. And that's exactly what she was, because you can see the fruits of her labor, and the people who learned from her went on to be great themselves. So yes, it is. So
Yes.
how can people get in contact with you? So somebody see this interview, they're like, that's a she got a great personality. I want to interview her. What's the best way for people to contact you?
I can be reached on Instagram. I only have Instagram and Facebook. I don't have Twitter. My name is Sasha Turnbo, just like how it reads. And then also via email. My email is Sasha, the letter J, and then Turnbo at gmail.com. With email, please give me some time. I know even with you, I have to send you a couple of things because I always it's so funny doing this stuff because with me, it's like I want you to understand. It's like this is like my side hustle. So it's like I also have a man hustle. I have a side hustle. It's like
Yeah.
we make it all happen,
Yeah.
Like the after
Yeah.
hours. Just like it's like what time is it? I don't know, but all I know is Friday night and I'm working.
Look
It's
here.
Friday night and I'm working.
Right. Right. Exactly.
But
That's
yeah,
me.
Sasha J Turnbo
Okay.
at gmail.com, and then Instagram, you can DM me. And I'm opening up to share more, to talk more, and I would love to be a part of anything. I would love to read books, people who write on her, people who do bodies of work on her. If you have children, I know a woman who wrote a beautiful children's book you can find on Amazon. If you look up Annie Malone children's books, there's an ABC book, a 1, 2, 3 book, an activity coloring book, a shapes book. It's very beautiful collection. And that woman who created it is rooted from St. Louis. I even did an interview that aired today on NBC St. Louis. That's on my Instagram page. If you look at it, you'll see them featured in there. And Madam C.J. Walker's granddaughter was also in the interview as well. So if you tune into that, you can see some things. And then in my Instagram bio, my link tree, I also have an email sign up. So if people would like to be the first to receive a newsletter when I launch the company to release the book, over the summer, you can start to put your information. I set that up just
Mhm.
because so many people wanted to stay in touch. So you can put your information in the email list, and I'll be able to send you some things and let you know that things are coming out, and you'll be able to get different deals, because you're a part of our little group. And then once I become more mainstream with everything, we'll have the proper subscribe list and our own little
Hey,
army of people.
hey, I signed up for the email, so y'all might as well sign up too. Go ahead and join me, join everybody else, and sign up. But that is a great way to build your tribe,
Yes.
though. So yeah, this was it. This was exciting. This was amazing. I love your energy. I love just the passion that you have. Like I said, there's
Thank you. I love this.
any way I can support you, help you out, let me know. Let's make sure we stay in touch. Also,
Thank you.
I'm going to send you the video I did on Annie Malone's life. I'm going to send you the story that I did. So you
Please,
know,
yes, I
and
have to
give
see it. Yeah.
and so and I kind of put mine together, kind of like songs. So I do my narration with some music behind it because I'm hip hop, so I like to jam. So I put it together like that. So I'll
I love
send it to
it.
you. Hey, you tell me what you think. But hey, um, look, on the Shows of Giants, this is what we do here, right? So we bring great people to give you great information, and that way we can never say we didn't know. We can never say we didn't know. We can never say we were not exposed to the information, because if lo and behold, I'm gonna do my damnedest to make sure that we know who our heroes are. And so thank you, Sasha, for stopping by and chatting it up with me. And hopefully this is the first of many that we can continue this in the future. So for everybody, y'all go support her. Get
Yes.
signed up for the email list. Go to Instagram, her Instagram, and click that link in the bio. Sign up for the email list in the link tree. Follow her. Support everything she has. Make sure y'all support me on
Yes.
Patreon. Get the books. Go to my website. Get my books. And this is how we do it. So we'll see y'all next time.
Yes. Get his
Peace.
book.
Uh, see y'all later.